doors and stuff. They're doing them now at nighttime.
Yeah.
Makes sense to do it now.
There's some police car there. You see the blue light on the left side? No?
Okay.
Can you open the front so I can
What do you look at front?
just...
Did you just look at?
I did look at it. I think it's
but
fine.
Don't look at now because you're
Fine.
not supposed to. It's too hot.
Why?
Look over here. Who's this one?
I don't know, but you don't have to worry about it. You just go and mind your own business and I'll secure the perimeter.
Be careful.
Let's go.
Can you help me here? I mean, it's so tight I can't open it. Before you can.
You can open now. Okay.
I like my hat.
You tighten it up a little.
That's a good idea.
Because otherwise it will start to complain.
It was good that we did this.
Yeah. Let's go. We can read later at home.
That Daniel was doing.
What about it?
He just loves those grading.
Yeah.
He says it's the most fun of the class.
I
Grading.
hate it.
I know, I did too, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
So he just told me that he changed the peer review.
Uh-huh.
In the beginning, and that it's so hard. And I said, Daniel, I said, these people are not going to do anything real because they're going to feel like they're,
Cannot win.
no, defamation. You know, that they're all afraid that they're going to defend me. So he just texted me that he's already checked the grades, the peer review, and it really works. They're really honest now.
Uh-huh.
Whatever, let him touch God. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
He
see
knows-
how I made it so it doesn't fall
Oh yeah,
easily.
yeah. We'll have to somehow do something later because it doesn't work anyways. Our air conditioning, the only problem is
It works, everything's
No,
good
but
enough.
it's
Just
perfect.
don't mess with it.
Yeah. You see what I'm doing here?
Yeah.
Down the corner. Slowly. I'm going to turn on my lights. And then here, I just...
Wow. What a life.
It was perfect, wasn't it? Could it be any more perfect today?
Yes.
And I just go away from them and go right behind him, and that's it. You got it?
Yeah. Be careful and don't slip your foot off and you will bang his car.
I just want them to know I'm coming here. I have to wait longer. Maybe these guys will help me.
No go crowd.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like a motorcycle. soon will be Christmas. They will decorate this property here.
I'm glad that at least I got that accomplished. I got the taxes and I got the liquor free.
We got a lot.
Tomorrow I'm doing the passport. I have to also do the car registration, for the tag, on my birthday.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for helping me clean off the desk. Then I have to go through all
And it's in the shoeboxes, so you know where it is
I have to go through it all.
whenever you have time.
It's a beauty every day in the summer.
Yeah, and don't make a...
No, but how beautiful is it? He's going to get one section graded tomorrow.
Put pressure on yourself.
How fabulous is that?
It is great.
And then he forgot. He thought that he applied for the SACA,
Yeah,
and he thought it was at midnight.
and he missed it.
And I let him know. I said, "Here, did you submit?" And then he said, "Oh," because I thought it was at 5, and I said, "So submit now." I texted him.
Yeah,
I said, "They don't care."
some people could get confused.
Right, because you think, midnight. They say,
Want to close the...
So anyway, so hopefully.
Cannot
So
find
even-
with the window. Can you raise my window?
Sure. That's the beauty that we can do both sides. Just don't put your
Okay.
hand in there. You know what I mean? Here, do you want me to turn on the lights?
No, I already found.
Okay. Take the food bags.
that thing for that.
What's the problem now?
Just want to make sure it still works.
Okay. The car now works nicely.
Yeah, it works great.
For how much we drive,
We're lucky that we don't need to drive a lot.
Especially now.
Yeah,
Okay. You got
yeah,
the.
let's go.
Dobson, get out of the way. I don't want to strike you, but I'm going to break up this den of ice. I began to throw the mirror and the bottles below the mirror. Mr. Dobson and his companion jumped into a corner. seemed very much terrified. From that, I went to another saloon until I had destroyed 3. The other dive keepers closed up, stood in front of their places, and would not let me in. Carrie Nation.
This will be Take One.
I'm willing to talk to anybody, any place to bring about a settlement.
Paul Giamatti was really fun to work with. We'd never worked with him before. He has a great sense of humor. He's super smart.
Paul Giamatti, who we all know is a terrific actor, and he reads George Remus, who is this wonderful, colorful bootlegger.
What fills the arms?
And he takes George Remus, this supreme egomaniac, but a genius at figuring out how to get around the Volstead Act and the Prohibition Law, and is just wonderful.
I was impressed by the rapidity with which those men,
Yeah, you can
no
go.
brains
Yeah.
at all, piled up fortunes in the business.
Yes.
The more I studied the Volstead Act, the more I was convinced of its frailties. And so I decided to get in on the ground floor. Struck while the iron was hot.
This film has a lot of humor. So we've been looking for actors who can bring that kind of comic sensibility. There's some very serious things in it, but there's also a ton of humor.
I think Ken does with all of the subjects that he covers is he turns it into pure human terms that we recognize in our own day and possibly in our own philosophies and how we practice that. And I'm not complaining now. I violated the law. That is always wrong. And now I'm going to pay the penalty. It is my own fault. Every bootlegger goes into the game for the same thing. The dollar.
Never underestimate the need for young dopes to defy the conventional laws. You want them to brush their teeth. They do. Make toothpaste around it. They'll be standing on the roof brushing away. It's natural to human beings. I think it's a healthy thing.
There are some laws that are put in the books that we inherited down through the ages of civilization. That makes sense. You shouldn't kill other people. But when you impose a new law that's so radically different, that sort of runs against the grain of what human beings have done in almost every culture for all of human time, you're going to create great opposition to it. Almost from the beginning, people wanted to have a drink, and they saw to it. There were thousands of speakeasies in Manhattan alone. It's just an unbelievable number. Someone once said that all you needed was, a bottle and 2 glasses, and that would make a speakeasy.
Most women who were working didn't make enough money to go to nightclubs to spend their evenings drinking and dancing in the arms of dashing young men. That simply wasn't available to most people. This is still there are deep inequities. What they could read about what it would be like to be a young, single, liberated woman who goes to all the right nightclubs, who drinks all of the right liquors, who knows all of the right people.
Another thing that your most high-hat friends have recently discovered is the Cotton Club in Harlem. I cannot believe that most of them realize that they are listening to probably the greatest jazz orchestra of all time, which is Duke Ellington's. I'll fight anyone who says different. It is barbaric and rhythmic and brassy as jazz ought to be. And it is all too much for an impressionable girl.
You gave incentive to criminals to make money on something that had previously been the 5th largest industry in the United States. So once you make that illegal, there's still a demand for it, but now criminals want to take advantage of that. So you put enormous amounts of money in the hands of criminals, which made them more powerful. They could corrupt the political process, they could corrupt law enforcement, and basically operate more or less with impunity. So that was never foreseen and a hugely important problem that Prohibition created, sort of laid the foundation for organized crime.
Some call it bootlegging, some call it racketeering. I call it a business. They say I violate the Prohibition law. Who doesn't? All I ever did was sell beer and whiskey to our best people. All I ever did was to supply a demand that was pretty popular.
Why, the very guys that made my trade good are the ones that yell loudest at me. Some of the leading judges use the stuff. They talk about me not being on the legitimate. Nobody's on the legit. Al Capone.
We've created a criminal underclass. And another unintended consequence. Women were never patrons of the saloons that were the hated object of the prohibitionists. But the speakeasies that opened in their place were unregulated. There were no hours, so kids drank and women drank. And all of a sudden, female alcoholism, which was non-existent at the beginning of Prohibition, is a huge or much greater social problem at the end of it. It just goes on and on. The hypocrisy of the politicians who were voting dry so that they could get reelected or get the money from the dries, but who were living wet. And the hypocrisy that bred was about contempt ultimately for the law. And so in so many ways this was doomed to failure. And how it failed is so interesting.
Okay, 10:31. Our time. 1.
We are here.